If you have, could I ask you to grab a block? If you don't, that's okay too, but it might come in handy. I will just place the block towards the front end of the mat. You might like it underneath your bottom, really, if you like sitting on one. As we come and begin our practice, it will be once more, in one way or the other, winter related. And we will use this time, as some of you has pointed out, it's also the winter solstice. So a time again to create some change for ourselves, as the days will become a little bit longer and hopefully noticeably soon. We will focus a bit more within today, and we will also address the area of our lower abdomen. So not quite our base as such, more so the area where our sexual organs lie. And with that, one of the yamas comes to mind, which is brahmacharya. Brahmacharya is often translated into celibacy, but as our modern society might have figured out, that's an extreme and maybe not quite the correct translation for the times in which we live. So I see that brahmacharya translated into moderation. And moderation not only in the sense of sexuality, but more so in general of how we live our lives. And that is very relevant at the moment as well, with all our prices going up. We might want to raise the inner awareness to create a bit of change for ourselves, where we see that necessary, and maybe developing over the next few weeks the idea of what that could look like. And then we'll start again into spring. So let us begin. If you can, close your eyes, and if not, just look at a solid spot somewhere. Let your hands rest, sit with ease, and then begin to just tilt your pelvis a little bit forward and back. It doesn't have to be a big movement, and please be careful as usual with any discomfort that you might feel, especially around your lower back. And then change from tilting to very light circling. It's really just around your sitting bones, the body itself not moving too much. And changing the direction of these circles. Then center yourself again and breathe in to let your belly pop out. And breathe out to draw it gently back in. And then bring some movement through your arms and shoulders, but maybe also right down into the hands and the fingers. And let your hands come to rest down again with ease. Keep your shoulders lightly back and move the head, and with that the neck. And then centering the head again. If you prefer, you can rest one or both hands onto your lower abdomen, but not necessary. As we begin with a breathing practice that's more or less full diaphragmatic breathing, while you inhale, let your belly expand forward like a big Buddha belly. And when you're breathing out, draw your lower abs in and a little bit up On the inhalation, let your belly stretch out to the front. On the exhalation, lower abdomen draws in and a bit up. Now continue that. Each breath in, the belly is relaxing. Each breath out, you're drawing in and up with the lower abs. While you do that, you might choose to visualize that you have a flame sitting in your pelvic bowl. And as you inhale and the belly opens, this flame just widens, broadens, and warms around the pelvic. And then as you're breathing out, drawing your belly in and up, you're hugging the flame in and lifting it up higher. And on the inhale, the flame widens, broadens again as the belly expands. And with the out breath, lifting the flame in and up. Continue that for a few more breaths. Allow one more breath before you rest the breathing as well as the image of the flame. And when you take your next breath in, please move both arms, reach them up towards the ceiling. And when you're breathing out, bringing your hands down in front. Now, if you're sitting on something, please remove that. You could also choose to swing your legs out, or you can roll over your ankles. As we bring our knees out wide as the mat, touching the big toes together and allowing the hips to move back towards the heels. Let your arms extend forward, lowering the head down if you like. Feeling into that extension. And as you next inhale, come to your fingertips, lengthen forward. On the out breath, walk your hands over towards the right and exhale to lean over your right knee. You might place your left hand on top of the right, just to increase the length that comes through the left side of the body. And allowing in your mind the breath to expand that left side of the torso. With your breath bringing space in between the ribs. When you next inhale, lift back up to your fingertips. Walk or slide your hands to the left and breathe out to bend over your left knee. The same here, you can place your right hand on top of the left, increasing the space you might feel coming into the right hand side. And then imagine the breath can actually open, while it can open the space between the ribs. So breathe deeply into that side to extend further. With your next breath in, come back to fingertips, walking the hands into the center, and then breathing out as you're rounding up to sit. If you can't sit comfortably on your heels, you may pop your block back between the legs, maybe sitting a little bit higher. And if that's not good for your knees, you can sit in any other shape or form, placing the palms of your hands to touch in front of the heart space. And allowing yourself to come back to a deeper breath. In and out. We will bring in 3 rounds of chanting. What we will chant is an Om, our universal sound, followed by the seed sound for Svadhistana, the chakra that we're working with. The sound is Vam. So we have a short Om followed by a Vam to complete 1 round. Let's exhale to synchronize our breath. Inhaling for the first round. Om Vam. Om Vam. Om Vam. Feel into the energies. And as you next inhale, extending your arms up again. On the exhale, bringing your hands down in front. If you use the block, please place that back closer to the front edge of your mat. Place your knees underneath your hips. Spread your fingers out, hands about shoulder distance apart. Find your strong stance from all fours. When you are next inhaling, let your right leg extend back. You can point out through the toes and reach forward through the crown of the head. On the out breath here, draw knee and nose together and round your back. On the inhale, extending long. On the exhale, drawing in. Only 1 more, inhaling, extending, exhaling, drawing in. Now, when you extend next, inhale, then bend your knee and open your knee out towards the side. Hold strength in the arms evenly. And when you breathe out, draw your knee to your right shoulder. Inhale, open the knee back. Exhale, knee to the shoulder. Inhaling, open your knee back. Exhale, swing the knee towards the shoulder and then help or step your foot to the outside of your hand. So we've got a bit of a wider stance, the knees on the ground. Let's take a breath in and lift both arms up towards the ceiling. And as you breathe out, bend your elbows, lift your heart, open your throat, and lift your gaze. Your choice to let your hips lean forward, but only if the hips and the knee are okay with that. Otherwise, just pause here. Think about breaths moving through the front body. With the next inhale, reach both arms back up. On the exhale, land your hands down in front of you. Try and straighten the right leg and tuck your toes down onto the mat. Your hands can be as far in towards you as you need them to be. And while you ground your toes, lower your upper body down on the inside of your right leg. As you keep that stretch, just about lifting the sole of the foot off the ground. Keep moving forward with the ball of the foot. And you might feel that the leg is more switched on all around. This is an active stretch. As you might pull the whole foot back now, dorsiflexion. Keep leaning in and exploring how that feels in the back of the leg. As you next inhale, bend your knee and land the foot back down. Adjust your hands back into shoulder distance and slide your right foot all the way to the back end of the mat so the leg can extend. You're down on one knee. The space between the shoulder blades is extended, so your arms are strong. And if you want to stay here, that's fine. Otherwise, you might lift your left knee too and find a full kumbhakasana or plank, where you draw your tailbone towards your heels. Now let your right knee come down and take a breath in to lift your left leg. On the out breath, then draw knee and nose together and round your back. On your inhale, lengthen the back and the leg. On the out breath, bring your knee and nose together. Inhaling, extend. One more, squeeze in to round your back. When you next inhale, extend the leg once more, but now breathe out, bend your knee and open your knee to the side. Keep the strength in both of your arms, and on your exhale, tuck your knee towards your left shoulder. Inhale, open your leg back. Exhale, knee to shoulder. Inhale, open the leg. Exhale, knee to shoulder, and then aim with the foot outside of your hand. As you bring your arms up, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, bend your elbows, lift your heart, your throat, maybe your gaze. Choice to lean the hips a little bit further forward, but again, please be mindful of the knee on the floor and the sensations in the hips. Imagine you can breathe over the front of your body. On an in-breath, reach your arms back up. On an out breath, land your hands down onto the mat. Lean a little bit back. Maybe the left leg can extend fully. Hand position, you can adjust to where is supportive, comfortable. Tuck your toes down onto the mat actively and lower your upper body down on the inside of this left leg. Of course, the leg doesn't have to be all the way straight, but aim for a straightish leg and tuck the toes down. We'll change that very slightly, just about lifting the sole of the foot away from the mat, moving forward with the ball of the foot. The leg engaged more all around, still leaning down for the stretch. Last few breaths in the shape, full dorsiflexion of the foot, noticing the change in sensations in the leg again. As you inhale, bend your knee, land your foot. Place your hands back down, shoulder distance. Slide your left foot all the way to the back end of the mat, half plank. So right knee can remain on the ground, same option as last time, or you can lift the right knee, find a full plank. Let's all draw our tailbone in the direction of the heels to be at comfort and with inner strength. You might then soften the knees, raise your hips, and go for a little walk with the feet, a little swing into the hips. Any movement now that's a bit off center, and that might reveal a little bit more about how you are really going at this moment. Now, talking about going, walking your feet towards the front end of your mat. Let your hands slide up against shins or thighs. Use them to lengthen your spine forward, inhaling. On the exhale, soften the knees and fold down. Now bend your knees, reach your arms up towards the ceiling, inhaling. And then let your arms release down by your sides as you're breathing out. Allow the palms of your hands to face forward. Nice and tall stance. We'll move a little bit out and away from our usual flows. So lean the weight slightly to the left foot, pointing your right big toe out to the side. You can keep the big toe on the floor or touch it there whenever you need to. Otherwise, lift the foot off the floor and have the leg bouncing up and down, straight out to your side. Then pause. Flex the foot actively and keep your stance, but move the leg diagonally back. You reach a point where you really feel your glutes switching on. Hold there and bounce again. Now, while you are bouncing the leg, pause there as well. Keep the foot in a flexion and start to realign the leg over the mat while leaning the body forward. Arms stay as they are, like an aeroplane pose. Now point your toes, land the foot down, bend the knee, reach your arms up for a lunge as you breathe in. And then bending the elbows and opening the heart, the throat, and the gaze again. I've got my back knee a little bit bent to help with the opening, safety for my lower back. But when you're breathing out, you may straighten the back leg, roll your shoulders forward, touch the backs of your hands together and leaning down. On the in-breath, bend the back knee again, open your heart and throat. On your out-breath, rounding forward. Keep that flowing, 3 more breaths. On the inhale, we're opening the body. On the exhale, rolling it forward. When you come to your last round, reach your hands all the way down, and you may step back to all fours or into downward facing dog. On the in-breath now, come forward into plank or kneeling plank. On the out-breath, keep your elbows by the sides and gently descend all the way onto the front of your body. Resting the forehead down, let your arms extend along the sides of the body. Palms of the hands are facing up. On an in-breath, raise the legs, the head, the chest, and your arms. Stretch back with fingers and toes, and hold here and breathe. Body lifted. Keep the breath flowing, although you might find it's quite short, it's challenged. Allowing the inner thighs or adductors to squeeze the legs a little bit closer together. And exhaling to release. Bring an ear down to the mat and assess how you're going. You could have your big toes together, the heels rolling out, just broadening the area here along the lower back. That might be enough. If it isn't, you can bend the knees, let the legs sway for a moment. Just let the pelvis rock, maybe finding the release that you need. You can then let the feet relax And pause here for a moment. Using these pauses to bring the awareness within, to notice what is actually going on, physically as well as mentally. We have thoughts coming up every here and there. Don't push them out. Acknowledge what they are about, part of a deeper understanding or the way towards it of why we are here. Then bring your head back to center. Place your hands down by the sides of the ribs. Breathe in to come up onto your hands and knees. You can tuck the toes under and lift the knees off the floor if you like. Now that takes you into an all-four stance or a downward facing dog. And with the next breath in, lifting your right leg up. On the exhale, draw the knee to the nose. On the inhale, extend again. Exhale, knee to nose, round your upper back. Inhale, extend again. Exhaling, knee to the nose. Inhaling, extend again, hold. Bend your knee and open your knee out to the side. You've done so on all fours. Keep the strength in both of your arms. Exhale, bring knee towards shoulder. Inhale, open the knee up and back. Exhale, knee to the shoulder. Too strong? I hope you're on your knees. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze the knee forward and aim with your foot to the outside of your hand. Then ground your heel. As you place your hands on the inside of the foot, take a breath in and let your right arm extend to the ceiling. Your forearm on the underside can rest down or stay extended. Upper arm might wrap behind the back. And some of you really keen can reach underneath for a bind. Please don't look at your screen. I'm not demonstrating that. As we ground down through the outer edge of our back foot. Breath in. Let's open the arms out wide. And a breath out as we release. The hands back down on the inside of the foot. Come to fingertips, lift the back heel, extend your leg and spine. And as you breathe out, step the left foot to the outside of the other hand. You can turn your toes a bit out, your heels a little bit in, bending your knees. And for some, you might rest your forearms onto the thighs. Others might sink their hips between the legs and touch the elbows to the inside of the knees, the palms together. But what we'll have in common is lengthen the spine. Doesn't matter how high or how low you might be. Allowing yourself to breathe in and out of your nose. If you find this is low, not so much doable, pop a block underneath and practice anyway. If you're using a block, you might just simply stay here and that's perfect as is. If you would like a play, move your hands down in front, lift your hips up, then lift your heels away from the ground, elbows are a bit bent, knees are coming towards the upper arms, gaze is forward, there's a roundedness between the shoulder blades, and you might experiment with leaning the weight into the arms and away from it. Some of you might lift their feet away from the ground, and some might even touch their big toes together. I'm deliberately not going there because of my left shoulder, but up to you to come into full Bakasana. Let us all land the feet again. Turn the toes towards the front. Let your hands slide up, straightening your spine forward, inhaling and exhaling to fold again. As you keep your knees at a bend, lift all the way up, reach your arms up to the ceiling. And on the out breath, release your arms, bring them back down by the sides. Palms of the hands actively shining forward. Maybe look at your feet, look at the alignment. Are they parallel? And then stand. Lengthen your out breath, especially if you were practicing the full crow. And we will shift our weight lightly towards the right foot now, pointing the left big toe out towards the side. You can always tap it back down there or lift the foot off the floor and let the leg bounce out a bit towards the side. Pause, flex the foot, keep your upper body still and move the leg back into a diagonal. Hold and bounce if you like. Then pause that. As you bring your leg back over the mat, lean the upper body forward. Arms are staying unchanged as you find an aeroplane pose, a variation of Vira 3, Warrior 3. Then point the toes, landing the foot back, bending the knee, and as you inhale, lifting the arms. On the exhale, bend your elbows, open your chest, your throat, and your gaze. Inhale. As you exhale, roll the shoulders forward. Touch the backs of your hands. You may extend the leg, round the back and look down. On the inhale, bending the knee again, opening the chest, gaze and throat. Exhale, rounding the shoulders forward to the back. Go for 3 more. Inhaling, open. Exhaling, rounding. 2 more. And with the last one, as you round forward, releasing your hands down to the mat. Take a step back or forwards or downward dog. On a breath in, rolling the back forward, finding a plank or a kneeling plank. On the out breath, lower down onto your belly. Press the forehead down and let your arms extend alongside the body. In this round though, we will touch the palms to the floor, the thumbs are pointing out. Posture is the same. On the inhale, raise the legs, head, chest and arms and hold here, actively pointing your toes and fingers towards the back end of your mat. Allow yourself to breathe, noticing the changes of each breath. Staying for another. And when you're then exhaling, release back onto the floor, turn the palms back up, change the ear that you rest on the mat, if at all. And you can choose again, big toes together, heels rolling out, or bending the knees and allowing the legs to sway. Spend a moment on the release around pelvis and lower back. And if you find a place that's more at ease, let the legs relax for a while. Noticing again what's happening deeper within. And it could be a simple observation of heart beating into the mat, breath moving against the mat. but there might be thoughts and feelings to acknowledge and then to detach from. As we learn all of this about ourselves, we're making room to create the change that we really require. As we change position now, place your hands back down flat by the ribs, center the head. Inhale, come up onto all fours, tuck the toes under. You may stretch hips up and back or lift the knees off the floor for a downward facing dog. As you come into that space, either align yourself, knees soft, tail high up and back, shoulders rotating to create space in the upper back and so the armpits see each other. And as you rest there, take a breath in and lift your left leg. On the out breath, bring the knee and the nose together, rounding your back. Inhaling, extending the leg back. Exhaling, bringing the knee into the chest. One more, inhaling, extending the leg back. Exhaling, knee to the chest. As you inhale, extend the leg back. Bend the knee, open the knee and hold strength in both of your arms. On an out breath, swing your knee out to your left shoulder. On your in breath, open it back again. Exhale, knee to the shoulder. Inhale, open it back again. Exhale, knee to the shoulder and then land the foot to the outer edge of the hand. As you ground through the back foot, your hands start on the inside of the front foot. Take a breath in and raise the right arm. Left arm can point down or rest to the top of the thigh if you prefer. Find the groundedness through the feet. If it's right for you, you can wrap your upper arm behind the back for a half bind. Or you could even reach underneath the leg with the left arm and create a full bind. Not important how far you go, just noticing all the shifts and responses of the rest of you. Round down through the feet, outer edges active, shoulders are open. On your next inhalation, let both arms open up again. As you breathe out, bring the hands down to the floor, lifting the back heel as you breathe in. Lengthen through your spine. And on the out breath, step your right foot to the outer edge of the hand. No more flying crows, but maybe your knees are bending, forearms to the thighs. Or you're lowering in between the legs into Malasana, yogic squat. Feel the length of the spine. Any support here necessary, you can always pop a block underneath and approach the posture more restful. You could also choose to steady your gaze or close your eyes. As you inhale, with the exhale, release your hands down. Remove anything you might be sitting on and lower down onto the floor. As we sit here, bending the right knee and letting the knee roll out to the side. So the sole of the right foot may touch the inner thigh, but it can rest anywhere against the leg. You're not comfortable to bend the knees at all, keep them straight, that's fine too. If you enjoy sitting on a block, you can do that, but you could also just take the end of your mat and roll that up. Some of you might prefer to just simply sit on the floor, which is all right as well. As you pull the straight leg a little bit into the hip socket, allow the knee there to bend as well while you turn the toes up to the ceiling. On your fingertips, lift your heart, lift your gaze as you breathe in. On the exhale, lean with your heart forward. So you're coming right from the hips. You can then relax the upper body down once you're there. And you might also change your arm position to be comfortable. As you release into this head to knee pose, let your breath guide you deeper. Try not to hold on and pull anywhere, just breathing out. Your leg may straighten. Your knee might bend a little bit more if you experience stress around lower back and pelvis. And then stay here and breathe. Another opportunity to observe yourself a little bit beyond the physical and energy body. As you next inhale, lift about halfway out of the posture. Then reach forward on another in-breath. Turn the hands and pull back as if you are rowing on the exhale. On the inhale, reaching forward. On the exhale, rowing back. Keep moving, 3 more. And you completed your third. You might guide your knee up. And if you feel restricted in the hips, you can place the foot down at about hip distance away from the leg. If you feel centered in your seat, you could also step your foot across. Let's bring the right hand fingertips straight behind our back, taking a hold with hand or elbow of the right knee with the opposite arm, and then breathe out for a twist. Nothing out of the ordinary here, but to allow the spine to be long, the foot flexed on the extended leg for groundedness and alignment. When you next inhale, turn the head. When you exhale, gently unravel the posture. Give the legs a little wiggle before you might choose to bend your left knee. And again, the foot can go all the way up to the inner thigh. It may rest somewhere else against the leg. With your fingertips down, lift the right side of the buttocks and pull the leg into the hip socket. Flex the foot, bend your knees. And as you inhale, start to lift your heart, open your throat, maybe your gaze too. And when you're exhaling, leading again into this forward fold with your heart, you can then relax the head down and also adjust your arm position. Then it is time to focus back within. See yourself as the observer rather than the person doing. Acknowledging that this is your body, but without the force and just the energy moving your breath, you might get a little bit deeper and also keep your mind in check. But don't get upset if any thoughts or feelings intrude this practice. Rather acknowledge them for what they are, feelings and thoughts. With your next breath in, lift about halfway out so the spine is long, and then reach your arms forward, inhaling. Turn the hands around and pull back with fists of fire as you breathe out. We'll do that a few more times. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale and drawing back. Breathing in and out. 2 more. And holding the last. You may help your knee to come up from there, and either you place the foot down at about hip distance, or you guide your foot to the other side of the extended leg, flexing the foot, and then bring the left hand fingertips behind. Hand or elbow wraps around the knee, and on the out breath coming into a twist. You may close your eyes or steady the gaze and observing the sensations. A lift through the spine, the sense of groundedness. And then inhale as you turn the head forward, and exhaling to unravel the posture. You might pop off any support that you might have. Now, I will leave you with plenty of options. If you happen to have a cupboard or wall near you, you might choose a legs up the wall pose. You may use the block for it if you like. If you don't have the wall near you, you might have the block there or a pile of cushions to pop underneath for legs up the wall pose without the wall. Now we'll demonstrate both if you're unsure. For legs actually up the wall, you sit very close to the wall. You have your block by your side in case you want it, and you can roll down onto your back before bringing the legs up the wall. So you're fairly close with your buttocks to the wall. If you then choose to elevate the hips, bring your knees to a bend, the feet against the wall, roll the spine up and place the block quite comfortably underneath the sacrum. Then you can extend the legs again and release the arms. If you are on your back, flat on the mat, have the block by the side as well, feet in the ground, lift the hips, and then slide the block underneath as you bend both knees up over your chest, and then extend the legs and relax your arms as well. So different variations for you to choose from. As long as you bring your feet up in the air and get the benefits of the inversion, you're perfectly fine. As in this season, we allow ourselves to work with the element of water, you could also encourage a general sense of the flow and the water element by touching your thumb to your little fingers. Leaving the other 3 fingers ideally together and slightly extended. Feeling into all the flow that there is in the body. Allowing the mind to be restful, more observant still. Knees can be soft, feet can relax. to allow a change from this position. Release any mudras in your hands that you might be holding, maybe wiggling your fingers a few times. If your legs are in the air or up the wall, start to lightly bend the knees towards the chest. If you've got a block underneath, you have your feet against the wall, remove it as you lift your hips away from the block, then roll the hips down. If you're with me on the mat, step your feet down onto the mat and lift your hips to draw the block out and roll the spine down also. Now, if you are still against the wall, roll to your favorite side and then return onto your mat or push yourself away from the wall. So you can also lie down in Shavasana or relaxation pose. If you need anything for it, don't be shy to arrange yourself. Maybe there's a need for a bolster underneath the knees or some cushioning. Maybe you'd like to cushion up the head, cover yourself in a blanket, and then finding the stillness that Shavasana might have to offer. If your legs are long, let them roll a little bit away, even if there's a bolster underneath your knees. If that's not good for your lower back, you might have your feet out wide and let the knees fall in for a constructive rest instead. And then become still. Noticing that you are still grounded with the mat, your personal space. That there's a movement in the front of the body that comes from the breath. Have a short reflection of the practice. Did you push? Were you challenged? Was everything easy? And did you practice with moderation? Knowing that only the observation with that, the awareness of the self can guide us to create change. It's okay if you pushed yourself, weren't quite that moderate. As next time you might reach that point of awareness during the practice to adjust. As you rest here, there's an opportunity to find out who and what you truly are. As you might silently recite the So-Hum mantra. It translates into I am that. With each inhalation that flows gently and uncontrolled, easily, think so. With each natural out-breath, think hum. So hum. So hum. Stay with that for a little while as you rest. Now let go of the silent mantra. Notice how you're feeling at this moment in time. Accept anything that you find. And then begin to deepen your breath. Feeling the energy moving more through the body. To begin to move fingers, toes. Maybe allowing a stretch. When you feel a bit more alert, move yourself back to a seated position. And you can rest your hands to your lower abdomen, or just one and the other to the heart space if you like. We'll finish just as we begin with the chant of 3 Om Vam. So we keep the seed sound, we also keep the universal sound. Om Vam. Breathe out to synchronize. Inhaling, begin. Om Vam. Om Vam. Om Vam. Gentle bow, we're leaning forwards, acknowledging each other. Namaste. Thanks for joining.